we're going to win. And we're going to win a championship. Otherwise, why are we doing it?
What's up, Cowboys Nation? Thank you guys so much for joining us. A lot of people are already hitting up the chat already, so please make sure you guys stay active. As you guys already know, it's your girl Cravin Cowboys in the building. Thank you guys so much for joining us on this wonderful Wednesday evening. As always, I got my girl Star in the building with me. How you doing tonight, sis? How you feeling?
What's up? What's up, everybody? Feeling good, feeling great. Y'all know it's always great when we get together and do another episode of StarChasers Girls Talk Ball. Y'all know before we get into the content, please like the content. Please like the video on both of our channels, Stargazer Sports and Cravin Cowboys. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're a first-time viewer, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. You don't want to miss this show on Wednesdays. This is the hottest show on Wednesday in the streets. So you always want to be here front and center for StarChasers Girls Talk Ball. And and then please share the content out on your social media pages, on your family group text, your friend group text, so that everybody can be tuning in to StarChasers Girls Talk Ball, because we feel like we give a pretty unique perspective when it comes to our Dallas Cowboys, and we pretty much not the only, but as far as women's like podcasts, like women podcasts, like we're the only one out here in these Cowboy streets.
Black women,
black women. We're trendsetters over here. So it's like, please show us some love by doing all of those things I said. So appreciate y'all.
Yeah, like Star was saying, it's very, very rare shows you guys are watching right now. I'm sure if you guys are familiar with the Cowboys.
I'm gonna go off camera real fast, and I forgot I need to put my ring light on.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, like just was saying, as you guys know, if you guys are familiar with the space, it was actually a shot at the West Coast Cowboy who came up with the concept of kind of putting this together, and that's really how we kind of met each other. At the beginning of I believe Cowboys preseason, Cowboys camp, he kind of put this together in the off season. We just kind of started StarChasers, just kind of wanted to, kind of talk back and forth, give our opinions about ball. Like she said, one of the few shows with women kind of talking sports. Some of our friends of the show, Aisha Morrison, she's came through on the show a couple times, I believe. And, we really, really emulate, we really want to emulate women like her in the sports field. I mean, we just seen recently with Mina Kimes hopping on with her and Skywalker Steel for a show. That's amazing. I haven't had a chance to watch that just yet. I was just telling Stars, it's been so much fun.
Yeah, that is amazing. That's amazing. Shout out to our sis Aisha. She's a guest. Shout her out. She did a show with me. Her and Sky did a show with me. That's crazy, because I literally That's like one of my dreams
Yes, for real
to
though.
do a show with Mina. So shout
Yes.
out to them because that's huge. Shout out to them for
Yeah,
real.
I was so hyped seeing that. I was just telling Star before we hopped on here. It's been so much, like, videos. Shout out to the content creators, the Cowboys beat writers out there doing the Lord's work, as they say. Cowboy football season really kicked off, but as Playmaker said, I kind of was able to kind of watch a little bit of his live a little bit. As he said, as all the ESPN shows start off with First Take, all of them start off was talking about Cowboys football, Cowboys training camp. So that feeling is definitely back in the air. We're excited, as the word has been kind of thrown around. And energy is back in the air a little bit. Football is back in the air. Very happy for this time of year. And really another E word. I know a lot of people talking about energy. Cowboys players, Schotty himself. The Jones family. But also another E word. I kind of been I think Schotty said today the word effort. Yeah, I think that's another difference that we're kind of seeing with these practices. It's like, and Mayor talked about, kind of the full speed running through the whistles, getting to the ball. We're seeing the defense, crazy energy. Shout out to Botch, another friend of the show. We talked about the defense.
Yeah, shout out to Vaj. Vaj been putting out the keynotes.
Yes.
Law is out there. Shout out to Law. Law put he put the unedited version of Diggs and Micah's interview. So shout out to all the Cowboys content creators who been putting in that work, especially those who are on the ground there at Oxnard.
Yes, facts, and that's where we get, just like you said, like we just kind of get some of the unfiltered views, something that's not cut up by ESPN, something that's not maybe, that maybe they can't fit into 140 characters on Twitter, right? We actually be able to see some real things, what I'm saying, and actually getting some poppable news now. So since we can just kind of, like I just mentioned, kind of start with some of the energy, day two of the practice. We were kind of talk about both day one, day two, just some things we kind of knows with some of the news and notes. Like I said, I just want to kind of start off with, we talked about it. Well, I kind of talked about it on my show Monday. I know you kind of spoke about it a little bit with talking about Dak in your show, just kind of just the camaraderie of the team, the energy, just really it's a family like environment, right? Friends of family, you just kind of feel that, like, not like they're kind of practicing, but also like hanging out, right? We talk about the trip they took in the off season, but these guys are having legitimate fun out there, and I just love the fans. You see, even when they're not, you see Dak, even when he's not a part of the drill, he's still out there hyping up his team. Like, sis, what's your thoughts on just the feeling of,
I think
I saw it in your thumbnail, it's just different. Like, what's your thoughts on this, sis? I'm loving it.
Right. It's just a totally different energy. I think, my God, Deuce out here balling again, but it's just a total different energy out here than last year. I was trying to bring up this clip. I'm like, bro, who had that clip of them yesterday? Like, just them getting warmed up. We're like, okay, this shit is different. Like, we wasn't doing this. And shout out to Vosh, because Vosh was like, bro, this. He was like, it's a total different energy here, because you can't. He was like, you can't do this type of stuff with 70-year-old coaches.
Yo, when you started,
and I'm right.
Facts.
What'd you say?
Come on now. Now I'm just saying, like, you kind of start off saying that, like, with these older coaches, you're not gonna see them out there running down the field when the defense gets that turn. I mean,
exactly. They don't have the energy to even be doing that type of stuff. Like Zimmer, people are like, well, we should have got Zimmer. I'm like, yeah, we could have got Zimmer, but would Zimmer be doing this type of stuff? Hell no. Like, Zimmer can't. Zimmer is almost 70 or is already 70 years old. And then you got Mike McCarthy, who's 60 years old. Like, we were ran by just Solari 60. Like, we were ran by nothing but old men, bro. Like, we needed a new regime change. We needed new energy up in this bitch. Yeah, and I feel like that's what we got.
Yeah, and not just old men. Mentality too, we had other coaches like McCurley, I'm saying, I forget the running backs, Coach Velasco.
Yeah, just squares,
they just have that energy about them, you know what I mean? It's just like,
no, they didn't have no energy at all. Like,
completely different, man. They just kind of had that Mike McCarthy, what's the word, aura that, McCarthy was like serious, kind of, tight chested, I'm saying, kind of kept everything close to the vest. And I think all his coaches he brought in, his friend, they just say, but his friends, but coaches that he brought in kind of had that same. He wanted to bring in guys who were, like-minded, so it makes sense that
guys, he wanted to bring in guys that he knew could actually match his energy. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why he got these coaches. That's why he wanted to get coaches from the college realm. Like, it was important. It was important to Schotty to bring a coach here that could bring some youth and some life, and that could match his energy, because you see we're getting to see front and center like who Schotty
Right.
actually is,
Right. To the
because of
backwards
course,
visor they always talking about.
right. It's like you're seeing that this is who he is as a head coach, because ain't nobody ever seen Schotty as a head coach. We only seen
Correct.
him as a
OC.
right. We've only seen him as an offensive coordinator. You know what I'm saying? And that was under Mike McCarthy, so he had
Right.
to operate within the realm of what Mike McCarthy wanted. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah,
But
kind of withhold his opinions, like Jerry was talking about. He
right,
had kind of had to defer to
right.
Mike. So
Exactly. There were some things
wow.
that he knew he couldn't say, and things that he knew he couldn't say, and things that he knew
Yeah.
he couldn't do. You know what I'm saying? But now,
Yeah.
now that he's got full reins to do things his way,
Mhm.
you see that it's just a different vibe out here. Like the way that the players are bro, I don't know why I can't find this video. I don't know who posted it.
Which one are you looking
I
for?
gotta the hype video when they were dancing.
The one where Dak was like in front of them, and Dak was like
Yeah.
kind of within
You
the.
got that you got that
I'll see if I can
clip?
find it. I might have favorited it. Let me see if I can
I
find it.
know I liked it for sure. So I'm gonna find it.
Yeah.
My
Yeah,
gosh.
I'm with you, sis. I just love the,
I be liking so
like you
much
said, the
stuff.
players are truly kind of buying into the program. And actually, I
Right.
want to comment on what you said earlier about the college aspect that's kind of been brought into camp, and you can kind of see it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of I think Botch talked about. I'm not sure, like you said, it's kind of been an influx of media, kind of people putting things out. So I'm kind of lacking on who said something about it. But it kind of the college aspect. I think actually, yeah, it was watching
Mm-hmm.
Brian Broaddus on their show. They actually mentioned that
Yeah.
kind of taking an example. I think Broaders brought up University of Tennessee, how their offense kind of moved fast, how they were kind of
Yeah.
moving fast out of the huddle, and it wasn't just, they would do tempo, but it wasn't just always tempo, right? It could
Mm-hmm.
vary back and forth. It could be one play would be fast, one play could
Right,
just,
right, right.
just be a regular play, or anytime they would just come out the huddle, rush to the line of scrimmage, and boom, call a play. And I love hearing things like that because, we've seen maybe every now and then McCarthy would run tempo last season, but it wasn't on a consistent basis. And we would see the guys. I remember even as early as week 1 in the Browns game, we start off with fire, like with tempo. You know what I'm saying? We just see the guys in the rhythm, and you just kind of see it fall by the
Mm-hmm.
wayside. You know what I'm saying? With either plays that kind of fall dead, or we hit a 3 and out, and just the kind of they kind of get deflated on the field. So we just never saw a consistent tempo. We just never saw consistent chemistry with the guys. So I think with them not just bringing in tempo, but just also maybe. And I don't know if we ever really seen this. It's crazy that McCarthy spent so much time with Aaron Rodgers, but
Mm-hmm.
you very rarely see the 12 men on the field. You know what I'm saying? We every now and then we get caught, but you know what I'm saying? Like we don't see every now and then we may see Dak,
Right,
hiking the ball
right.
fast, but we very rarely catch other teams with 12 men on the field. So I like that they're kind of implementing that, trying to catch the defenses off guard, trying to make, I think it was mentioned that, they were doing shifts in motions where you're forcing the defense to kind of course, adjust to you. But,
Mm-hmm.
I think Schotty mentioned having to adjust the front. So it just, you're making defenses, number one, stay on their toes, making them think, because, Schotty always says that if you're making the players think, they're playing a little bit slower. So if you're making the defense think, they're going to be playing slower. So if you can just catch them
Thanks.
by that
Yeah.
much, and you're seeing the speed of Pickens, you're seeing the speed of CD, of course, that duo. We've seen a glorious seam pass from Ferguson today, a lot of Dak to Ferguson today, and we're just seeing different elements of this offense that are just kind of, slowly but surely kind of unraveling before our eyes. What's your thoughts on that? It's just the tempo and just kind of like, and not just the energy overall of the practices, but the kind of the energy of the offense, kind of progressing.
Yeah, I mean, I think the tempo it's definitely, it's like the players are, you can see the way that, by the way that Schotty is running practice,
Yeah.
that it really is what they have been monitoring all off season, which is that we want to be this high tempo. I mean, in this video that I'm trying to find is similar to the one we saw at OTAs. Like the coaches are hyped, the players are hyped,
Right.
and they're fully maxing out. You know what I'm saying? It's like when White Cotton
Yeah.
talked about the energy. They want these players running to the ball, running.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's that's what they want. They want this high tempo. We're here. Our lungs are on fire. Like that is what
Mm-hmm.
they're looking for, and I'm
Yeah.
glad that the players, are honestly buying into it, because they could. not be bought into it. They could think it's
Facts.
lame or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is
Yeah.
whack. Ain't nobody doing this. But it's like I think it also plays a part that, like, the fact that Schotty built a relationship with these players.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why they actually trust him. I dropped a
Yeah.
video the other day about Dak, how he was speaking about how, when it comes to Schotty, and he was like, this is not no knock on Mike. It's just that Schotty and Mike are different. Schotty
Yeah.
took the time to really build a personal relationship with all of his players,
Yeah.
and he makes sure the coaches are also building that relationship, also showing up
Yeah.
to these players events and stuff like that. And so that's the way Schotty has chosen to do things. So it's easier to get people to buy in when they actually have a relationship with you, rather
Yep.
than I'm trying to force this on you, but I don't know you. If Schotty wasn't doing all the
Yeah.
stuff that he was doing all off season, you wouldn't see the energy. You know what I'm saying? But it's like you see the
Right.
energy because these players know how much Schotty wants to win, and I believe how much he cares about them, and thus he's built that trust. These players now
Yeah.
trust him, and I feel like that even Micah being here, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, Micah being here is a huge deal. Is a huge deal. You know what I'm saying? And granted,
Yeah.
Micah kept his word because he always said he was never going to hold out, and he didn't hold
Mm-hmm.
out. But I still um know that a big reason why he's here is because of Schotty. You know what I'm saying? And because Micah said that himself, like, I'm showing up to OTS because of Schotty. Like, he has a
Yeah.
personal relationship with Schotty. It's not Micah's Fluce's guy. Like, under Mike, it was Micah and Zimmer, but Micah and Mike weren't like this.
Right.
It was Micah and Zimmer. See,
Right.
Shotty's making sure, I don't care what side of the ball you're on, you're my player. You know what I'm saying? Like, and
Exactly. Yep.
I feel like they know that. You know what I'm saying? But shout
Yeah.
out to everybody in the chat: Rico, JV, Lee, Kim
Yeah.
Berry. Really appreciate you guys rocking in the chat with us. We appreciate you, your loyal support, and we know
Yeah.
there's other people. If there's people on the X side, please come to the YouTube side. I dropped the
Yeah.
link. You know what I'm saying? We dropped the link on our X channel, so please come to the YouTube side and like the video, and then you can go back to watching on X if that's what you prefer.
Yeah. Yes, facts, sis. And I love one element of some of these interviews I've seen with some of these players that's come out. Like Miles Sanders is one person. One of his interview that kind of really stood out to me. He spoke about Schotty hitting him up in the offseason, sending him a text. He said that was something he really hasn't experienced before from a head coach. And he said, I
Right.
don't know if he said he's personally experienced this, but he said that, some organizations sometimes, you're not sure whether you can talk directly to the head coach, like whether you can just walk up to the head,
Right.
head coach and have a conversation with them. So he said that was kind of different for him. You know what I'm saying? So that was
Mhm.
kind of evident for me, especially coming from, number one, a free agent, a player
Mhm.
coming from a division, literally a division rival. You know what I'm saying? So, and I kind of got those
Right.
vibes from him too. Like, kind of a side note, even he was like, well, my family's more excited than I was. And I'm like, dang, bro, like, you still got a little bit of Philly in you. Okay. I got you. I
Yeah.
know. I can understand. I
Yeah.
can understand. But
I didn't watch his
I was
interview. I
like,
didn't watch the interview,
oh,
but is that what he
yeah,
said?
yeah, he
Oh
was just
my
like, yeah, some of my family members a little bit more excited than I was, but yeah, it's all good. And I'm like,
god.
dang, bro. But
Oh
okay,
yeah.
I feel like
Mhm.
maybe he still got a little Philly on him, but I feel it. But yeah, he did mention that, I just love that. Like you said, him building that relationship, player by player, whether it's offense or defense, special teams, you know what I mean? Even seeing Turpin's interview, he said, he took accountability in this. And, well, I didn't hear his interview, but there was a snapshot on Twitter saying, hey, we had a good conversation, not that he's back in good graces, but it didn't sound like, he was punished or, but he took accountability saying, hey, I got to be better. It's the offseason. I can't be doing things like that, So it's just like, you
Exactly.
love hearing that too from some of the mature players, like not just the young players who are buying in, but the mature players as well. You see a veteran coming in literally from the outside saying, hey, this is what the head coach is doing for me. And it's just preseason. It's just, it's still training camp. And this is what the head coach is doing for me in the off season. So I think that really means a lot. And like you said, shout out to the chat, people coming through, Emily Bentley, tapping in. Shout out to JVB and shout out to you, JVB boy. I think I got your donation over the weekend, bro. You seriously be busting us. I really do appreciate you, fam. You
Yes,
really are. Like
yes,
you say, you very loyal. Very.
very
We love
loyal.
your interaction and just always just interacting with Star Chasers. We really do love you. Really do appreciate you. And shout out to PZ as well, jumping in the chat. Appreciate you, fam. He said he got
Yes,
StarChasers on the phone and Jay Tuck and Rome on the TV. Hey man, you having a great Wednesday evening. I tell you that.
exactly. That's
You
that. You
watching some
can't
fire
get any.
content.
You can't get any better than that. We appreciate the support,
Facts.
brother, for sure. Maybe you know
Facts.
what I'm thinking. If the video not on this channel, I think they probably deleted it. Cause I'm
Ooh.
like, bro, it was
Oh, the
whoever
hype
posted
video.
it. Yeah,
But I was
because
looking
I'm
at my
like, I
likes
done
too
been
and
there.
I haven't seen it yet.
I'm like, I done been to everybody page
yeah.
that I follow, and I'm like, bro, I'm still not seeing the hype video.
Yeah.
So
I don't
yeah,
see
I
it
don't
either.
think I think I took it off, but it don't matter. Y'all just gotta believe us. The practices
Yeah.
we're just practicing at a whole different. We're practicing at a totally different level. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that this is the model. This is the Pete Carroll model. This high energy practices. I
Yeah.
think Schotty in the offseason spoke about how players gotta want to come here. You gotta create a positive working environment.
Yep.
Because if the
Yeah.
players don't want to come here, right? Like if the players don't want to come here, then how are you going to expect them to practice? And if they don't practice right, then this is why you see mistakes on the field on Sundays.
Yep.
So it's like these players got to want to come here. They got to want to be bonded with their brothers. I saw some quotes from CD that I thought was very good. Him speaking about
back in training camp again.
Right, very good. He's very happy to be back. He spoke about how when he had to miss last year, was something like something that almost broke him. You know what I'm saying? So he's just so happy to be here. He's happy to be here with Pickens. But here's some quotes. Shout out to John Machota. I can show this. Here we go. I even feel like CD's relationship with Dak is different. I feel like it's different. I feel like CD is just speaking about Dak differently.
Yeah.
Than he was before. I don't know if CD spoke this much about Dak, like holding Dak down, having Dak's back and all that type of stuff. Because people in the past thought Dak and CD really don't got a good relationship and they hate each other. Then we know the issue that happened with CD's mom after the Green Bay playoff loss. So a lot of people were thinking that like they were beefing, but CD says, I feel like the league knows what happens when I'm healthy and I have Dak for a whole season. But if you don't, I will happily show you what it's going to be like this year. Honestly, I'm a dominant receiver. I don't like to speak highly of myself, but I can't wait to show you guys. Like CD basically like he on a different type of time the way he's speaking. It's just everybody to me it's just like what you call like extreme confidence. It feels like players like just actually know like what the hell is going on. Here's another quote from CD. He says, I'm glad he's here. He knows I love him. I tell him every day that I'm happy for him. I hope we go together for X amount of years. I don't care. I just know we're not fitting to do this for only one. Like, and this is CD and Pickens doing the little handshake and stuff. Like,
I ain't gonna lie. Look, John Machota somehow. I'm gonna credit you. That might be in the intro, sis. That might be in the intro. That is crazy, man.
Yeah, we need to put it in the intro.
Yes, because look at that, sis. Like day 2,
they locked in.
They locked in.
They locked in. Like it's just a different type of energy that these guys are on. I'm trying to see if they just got some other fun.
Jameson Taylor, appreciate you, fam. Thanks for joining us. Hope you're doing well.
Shout out. Let's look at this clip. CD Lamb. I think this is the one where he kind of went crazy. Shout out to
Oh yeah, and then Pickens got the block, bro. Man, that was crazy.
shout out to John Machota. But the players are turning up. Like you
Right.
could just tell, like when you looking at the energy, they just
And like you say, he's kind of getting like that different air about him. Like he knows like
right.
his worth, he knows what it's like, and then when he has a wingman, he knows he's unstoppable.
Exactly. He knows it's gonna be. This is Javonte Williams.
Okay.
So the players they just out here having some fun. I think.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's enough for now. I don't want to get too far off topic, but yeah, it's just the players. You could just see they playing with. What's up, Jameson? Glad to see you. You can just see that the players are just practicing at a whole
Yeah.
different energy. You know what I'm saying? And it's not that
Yeah.
they haven't always been hype. I just feel like the players just have it's like CD having Pickens here. It's like he's just really happy. I know Dak is happy as hell he got Pickens. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think, the defensive players like Micah, Osa, Diggs, like everybody, but
Oh,
they're also
I'm gonna see if I can bring that clip of where they had both what was it? I think it was Micah, Diggs, Pickens, and
Micah,
CD all hanging together. Oh my gosh.
yeah, Micah Diggs, and
This?
that was like it just feels like everybody's bonded up. I know Jerry is
Yeah.
Jerry, and he does what he typically does. Throw his players under the bus, and he does it. It's the same play. If y'all checked out my last video, I told y'all like it's the same play ran by Jerry. Just don't let your heart rate get up. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying don't speak against Jerry, because you got to continue to speak about Jerry so people know, especially casual fans who may be trying to look into the team deeper. But at the end of the day, guys, like we have a good team, and it's like the players are happy. So it's like if the players are happy, why can't we be happy? And that doesn't mean don't talk about things that need to be talked about. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying we do have to realize like the team looks happy. They look revived. Now, does that mean that this is we don't know what the team is going to look like in September, but we do know that the groundwork that needs to be laid is being laid right now so that we can be successful in September beyond. Yeah, this was a scary moment. George Pickens almost hurt, but they said he didn't hurt nothing. They said it was just a cramp. So I was like, bruh, sit him the rest of we can't sit him the rest of training camp, because hell no.
And why was he the first one? I'm kind of like, man, all I seen was coming on my phone was George Pickens left with a left, and I'm like, hold up, you know how they always cut it off right before you see the whole headline? I'm like, what's going on, man? Like, really, fucking day? I'm like, stop it. But this is what I wanted to bring up. I wanted to bring this clip of all four of them just kind of chopping it up. Like, man, like sister seeing this is like, and even just, we already know Dak is that leader, that the head of the team, but just seeing these four together, like especially after what happened yesterday with Parsons and Diggs kind of holding their court in front of the media, but just seeing and also another thing, sis, when Pickens was actually down there getting looked at, it was Diggs and Parsons standing right next to him, when he was getting looked at. So at first I was wondering if it had anything to do with the relationship, and then of course this is one of the next following clips that came out. So seeing them just kind of chop it up, it made me wonder if Diggs kind of built the relationship with CD and Dak, and I was wondering if it had kind of also transferred to Parsons and Diggs to the defensive side. And obviously we're seeing it, pretty young, around the same age group. So seeing that relationship, and I think just that, at least for me, that kind of just solidifies it, our leaders of the team kind of getting together. And it also tells me that they also standing beside the two star players who spoke up yesterday, who spoke up to Jerry Jones, hey man, like, okay, you want to go, toe to toe, okay, we'll go right with you. And it's, and everyone kind of respects their business. And I know it's another person, I know it's another organization, but I happened to be watching the news, and they covered the Commanders over here on the East Coast, and it was a quote that Bobby Wagner said, and he said that and it really kind of stood out to me. He said that, we know the part of the contract business is business, but it's none of our business. So I think that just kind of resonates with really across the league with these players, and we kind of see it in the other locker rooms besides ours. They kind of speak up and say, "Hey, man, they're going through the business part." Even when McCarthy was here, this is what they're going through. This is part of the business. This is what they go through. Every year, season to season, players are trying to earn their money and get their contracts. So we just kind of stay out of it. Say we respect what you're doing, and we support you 100%. So I think, with these, the four hanging out and chopping it up and seeing Dak, talking with Diggs, I think it was, I don't know if it was yesterday or today, but Diggs was chopping up with Dak on the sideline as well. Just kind of still seeing that camaraderie even after that happening. We just know the players kind of stand beside each other and openly and publicly. I just love that the stars of the team are standing
Right.
together.
The stars of the team are standing by each other. And what's up, Brian Smith, my guy DJ 100 Grand, D Breezy from
Yes,
X. Thank you so much for you tuning in. D Breezy, can you come to the YouTube side and hit the like button? Then you can go
yes,
back to X. I appreciate that. But yeah, I think, and another quote, like when we talk up, because Micah and Diggs did hold they held a joint press conference in solidarity. Now
right.
that's something that I had never seen before. I had never seen no shit like that. I do
Facts.
want to say, I wonder what you think about this, sis, because a lot of people are like, oh my God, like, um, what Micah and Diggs is what they're doing is different. And I think it is different in a
Yeah,
way, but I also think that when it comes to what Micah is doing, like, he's following the Dak model. Like, am I wrong on that? Because I'm like, Dak has always come to camp. People have always questioned, like, why is Dak come to camp? He's always said, like, I need to be out here with my guys. I need to be building the relationships. I need to be doing that. Like,
yep,
and he's like, I sat out before. He's like, I held out before, but like, I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that, like, my job is so dependent upon so many people, and so
yeah,
many people expected Micah to hold out. You know what I'm saying? Even though Micah said he wasn't gonna hold out, but many people expected it. And I think what
yeah,
Micah's doing, he's monitoring the same thing, and he's also doing what Dak did, because last year when Dak was in that contract dispute, I remember Dak going on live television with Jane Slater and saying,
right.
Aaron Rodgers went somewhere. He's like, yeah, I want to be here, but it's like,
Yeah,
if they don't want me, Dak said, if they don't want me,
man, look.
I'll go somewhere
Yeah,
else. Aaron Rodgers went somewhere else. Why not me? Like, to me,
the
this
heart
is
attack I had, sis. I was like, hold up, what? Dak said what? I know Dak ain't said nothing about being anything other than a cowboy. I thought I was tripping since I'm not, man. And like you said, to hear Parsons say that, I'm like, I'm sure Cowboys Nation had a collective side eye, like, Jerry, you better act right.
exactly.
This
And so,
is your, man. Like Diggs
so
said, and I love that Diggs said that. Like, my eyes went big when Diggs said he's the best player in the league. Why would you not pay him? I'm like, oh, so they really
exactly. They really together.
100%.
But remember last year, Dak was saying that about CD. Dak was like, he's the best wide receiver in the league. He deserves to get paid
Facts.
immediately. So
Facts.
I feel like
Facts.
I'm seeing parallels and cohesiveness. I know there's a
Yeah.
movement where people are like, Dak's the uncle. We don't give a damn about Dak, Milton season, whatever the hell. Some people on
Right.
weird stuff. But I do think that these players have built a relationship, and even seeing with Dak, like the bond with Dak is stronger than it was
Yeah.
in previous
Yes.
years.
Just like you said with
And then
CD.
with CD, and then you see, today, Dak threw an interception. Kyer Elam. So that's a
Yep.
no. Kyer Elam is keeping
Yes.
up that
Yes.
pace, because y'all remember at OTAs, his name kept
Kept
coming up, pass breakup, interception, pass breakup. So he's staying on that trend. And after that, Dak went to him, was talking to him, basically probably like, well, what did you see? How did you give me? But it's like,
Yeah.
you don't see Dak talking side by side. He's on the thumbnail talking to Kyer Elam.
Right.
Like, Kyer Elam just got here. Dak
Right.
normally
Literally.
wouldn't be doing that type of stuff. Like, you never
Yeah.
seen people we just brought in always picking off Dak. Dak, you don't see Dak having no one-on-one conversations, but Dak went over there. I think he found it like an opportunity, like, how can I bond with Elam? And you could see like Elam was talking to him and, had his arm around Dak. I'm like, okay. So it's like the team feels like this is a real brotherhood. This is a real, and they're competing, because you see how CD and Pickens, they still competing, but at the same time, they're also building the brotherhood.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I 100% agree. And there's another quote that I got from Playmaker, kind of watched some of his live. He said something like, he said, it's not just about training your body physically, but also retraining your mind. And I feel like Schotty has kind of done that, not with just the physicality of practice, because we see the energy, we see the guys playing full through, but we also see, like you said, a change in relationships, even more, even stronger bond. Like you said earlier with Dak and CD, I feel like they had a different type of relationship before. And then now, like you said, I in my opinion, I feel like Dak is seeing the maturation of CD. And I think it's having Dak, not just CD respects Dak more, but Dak is also respecting CD more. I mean, what was it? I think it was a couple of years ago when he spoke about CD's behavior on the sideline. Like, hey man, we gotta be better. We have to do this. We can't let's get in the way, And not that there was a problem, but we kind of called him out a little bit, publicly on, during one of the press conferences. So I think, seeing CD kind of build that relationship, not just with Pickens, but we see him, I don't know if we see him being closer with other wide receivers, but he's kind of speaking about how kind of being closer to everybody just in general and being that leadership and kind of speaking more with the receivers and younger guys, giving them tips, giving them, maybe, just ways to kind of better their game just individually. But I just feel like with Dak seeing the maturation of CD, I feel like it allows Dak to respect CD more. And also, it kind of I think maybe it was CD who kind of bridged the gap a little bit between Dak and Pickens, say, hey, it's my, maybe I'm sure he knew him from before, but
right, because they had a relationship before, right? Him and CD and Pickens had a relationship. So, yep.
Right. So I feel like CD, was like Dak, I'm taking him on my wing. You can take both of us under your wing, and like you said, Dak just sounded just beyond excited to be able to have these two guys on
Dak
the field.
Is just like through the roof because he has not had this.
He's the kid candy shop right now.
Exactly, like he has not had this. Like he
he
had it with Amari. He had it with CD and Amari, but we got to remember, CD was a rookie and a second-year player when Amari was here.
Right.
Like. Dak is getting CD in his prime, George Pickens in his prime, like going into his prime. Like it's a different feeling. It's a different feeling. Like Dak's been looking across the way. He sees Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. You look to the Giants. They got Malik Neighbors, and I think they added another wide receiver. I can't remember. They're not that great. But let's look at the other competition. The Lions, Jamison Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, the 49ers. I know he's gone now, but they had Debo and Ayuk. Like the Rams, Kupp and Nakua. Like everybody having their wide receivers. Meanwhile, Dak got CD and a bunch of guys. You know what I'm saying?
And impossible. CD and Impossible, you feel me? Like he's really had a wingman. You know what I'm saying? Like we talk about and we always talk about how Dak felt without having a second option. Imagine how CD felt. Like
like
really
CD
having the game put on his shoulders, and then when the things aren't transpiring, and you wonder why. Not saying he didn't have a right to kind of, I don't want to say act out, but kind of have an attitude about it. But really, the team was being trying to be forced on his shoulders, trying to make something happen. And then when nothing happened, why is CD acting out? Why is and then even last year trying to play catch up, he took a toll. It took a toll to his body. So these players make sacrifices that maybe some of Cowboy Nation doesn't consider. When it comes to just being the only option on your team. Yeah, we rave and we love having CD, but sometimes imagine how he feels just having the sole responsibility of trying to make this team go. The past couple years, can you imagine that? Like, and I'm sure players love that because they want to have that responsibility, but at the same time, it's a lot of pressure to put on one player. It was a lot of pressure to put on Dak to try to lift the team up, trying to play, hero ball at the end of some games, maybe when the defense couldn't come through. So we just kind of think about, and that's another point I want to bring up just quickly. Like, that's another thing I got from Botch and Brian's show is that, it spoke about Dak's play in the first day of practice, but it was something that Brian said that, Dak played well, but he kind of said it was nothing spectacular, but not like in a negative way. He kind of just said that, it was more about ground and pound. They practiced more run plays than pass plays. So I want your thoughts on this. Like this to me, it kind of feels like that, like Prashadi was saying, it's about taking the pressure off Dak. So we don't have to see Dak play hero ball. We don't have to see Dak pass the ball 40 times. We don't have to see Dak try to get the ball to 3, 4, 5 playmakers. We're trying to get these running backs ready, you know, and we can kind of transition to that into the running
to
game.
the running
too, but,
game. Yep.
you know, but
Yep.
it's just like now Dak doesn't have to play spectacular. Not that he shouldn't, and not that he shouldn't for the responsibility to, but he doesn't have that full responsibility on his shoulders. It's up to the other players to step up. It's up to the offensive line to be able to get to the next level. It's up to the running backs to be able to get through these gaps.
Right,
gaps.
right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not just about
exactly.
Dak
It's not
executing,
about
it's the other
Dak.
players stepping up. You know what I'm saying? So,
Exactly.
what's your thoughts
Exactly.
on that? Like, I just felt like from that statement from Brian Broad, it just made me think like, I didn't take it negatively. I just took it as it doesn't have to be Dak playing spectacular all the time. These other players have the chance to step up now. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I spoke about how early in the how Schotty is the first coach. And shout out to you, Marcus York. You said who's my favorite Cowboys player? Dak.
Facts.
Dak is my favorite Cowboys player for sure. Enrico, I saw your question about Mozzie losing weight. I'm dropping a video on that. It's been loading for, I don't know why it's taking so long for YouTube to just put it out. I'm like, bro, it's not that long. It's only a 20-minute video, but it's gonna be dropping at any minute now. Y'all check that video out about my comments on Mozzie losing this alleged weight. But I think that Schotty is the first coach to decenter Dak. And people may see that as a slight. People may see that as, you know, Schotty believes in Joe Milton or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but what Schotty is doing is what he knows is best for Dak, and that is to challenge Dak. Any great player, all great players need challenges. How are they going to get better? You're not going to get better if everything is easy. That's why he talks about, how did I make Dak better? Bringing Joe Milton here. Because I can tell you right now, Joe Milton is not Trey Lance. Joe Milton is not Cooper Rush. Joe Milton is Joe Milton. He's a younger guy. He's got a different level of swagger. He's more accurate than Trey Lance. I feel like he's more comfortable at quarterback than Trey Lance.
Yeah.
So why not put a guy like that behind Dak to make Dak play at his optimal level? Not saying that Dak doesn't already play like that and put in the work to do that, because he does, but Dak is also a competitor. He likes to compete. So when he sees George Pickens may have a day in camp. He may be 10 for 10. He ain't throw no picks, no drop balls. Like, you don't know. So this is what I'm saying. He wants to challenge his players. Schotty wants to challenge CD. He wants to challenge Tolbert. You know, he wants to challenge these people. He wants to challenge Osa. He wants to challenge every single person on his. He wants to challenge Booker. You know, he said that. He said, I don't care. He said, people think it's a shoe-in. Oh, Dak's got the spot. Booker's got no. It's not on my team. That's not how it works.
Like,
everybody will earn their spots. Everybody will earn their spots. But Schotty knows that the reason why this team has been failing. Y'all forget, Schotty's been here. Yeah. Schotty's been here looking at the landscape since 2021. I think he's been here with us. So he's been looking at the landscape, and he knows what the players need, and he knows what this team needs. And this team needs real competition, but it also needed what? Togetherness and a brotherhood, so that the players can perform at optimal levels in high pressure moments. Right. Because in high pressure moments, it's always been on Dak. For the most part. Yes, defense showed up in playoff game 2022 versus the 49ers. Dak, even in his exclusive interview that I talked about the other day with Clarence Hill, said he puts that playoff loss on him. Now, there were other factors, but Dak was a big factor on why we lost that game, because the defense did hold the opponent to under 20 points. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, like, in order to win football games, like, go and look at Peyton Manning's Peyton Manning's Super Bowl run with the Indianapolis Colts. Go look at Joe Burrow's playoff run when they went to the Super Bowl. Like, go look at how these other quarterbacks. Go look at Jalen Hurts. Go look at what these other quarterbacks are being asked to do to get to the Super Bowl, and then look at that. Go look at what their teams are doing. Look at how they stopped the run. Look at how many turnovers they defense got. Like, go and look at these teams
Right.
in detail before you just say, "Oh, this player is better than this player because he's got this many playoff wins and he's got this many playoff wins." Like, it's so much that goes into winning a playoff game. The team has to show up in order to win a Super Bowl. The team has to show up. It cannot be on one player. That's foolishness. Look at our Super Bowl runs. One Super Bowl, Emmett just ran us to victory, literally. Like, it shouldn't. Your quarterback should be required to step up and do their job when needed, but they should not be required to carry the team.
Yeah,
So I
100%.
think
I
that,
definitely agree with you.
yeah, they shouldn't be required to carry the team. Like,
Yeah.
this team, you got to build a team around your star players. Build a team. Y'all see her up there. I'm an Angel Reese fan. The reason why the Sky can't win, she's playing great, putting up MVP numbers, but you can't win when you don't have a team. Same thing with Paige. Like, you can't win when you don't have a team. It don't matter how good of a player you are. If you don't have a team around you, like I said before, you may be able to. A good quarterback can cover up a lot of flaws, so he can probably drag, depending on the schedule, the hardness or easiness of the schedule. He could probably drag you to playoffs. But if you think he's gonna drag you to the Super Bowl, then win the Super Bowl for you, no.
It's a lot. That's way too much to put. Like, even not just a quarterback or just any sole player. I mean, we talk about the Eagles, with having Barkley, right? I mean, and we saw in the Super Bowl game where they hardly used him, but he wasn't the sole factor that they won. So even just, but a lot of people said they kind of rode him to that because throughout the whole year he would constantly get to the goal line, but then and then of course they would give the touchdown to Jalen Hurts, but it's like, he did a lot of the stuff during the regular season to kind of get them to that point. So it's not always great trying to, and even when, you can go back to his time with the Giants, they put pretty much everything on Saquon. So it's just not, not a viable.
It's really not a viable, right? It can't be. It cannot be. Your team cannot be this player or bust.
Right.
That can't work. It's not going to work. This player or bust is not going to work.
I want to bring up this tweet because since you actually just mentioned, you really hit the nail on the head about turnovers, and that's really something, like you said earlier, shout out to Botch. He's been mentioning, about defense having that energy, having a lot of pass breakup, turnovers, interceptions. I mean, forced fumbles. I mean, the list really goes on, and I wanted to point this out. Here's it's Botch's tweet. I don't know if you guys can see it. I don't know if I have it zoomed in enough.
We can see it.
Okay. It says Kenneth Murray mentioned Flus on it 40 plus takeaways on the year. They are practicing like it. And sis, just to give it, Cowboys Nation, just give you a few examples. The first interception of Kemp went to Marshawn Elam. Kyer Elam, like sis mentioned earlier, had an interception. Donovan Wilson, Deron Bland had forced fumbles. Wanye, I mean, even Perrion Winfrey had some pass breakups at the line. I mean, we're just seeing a lot of disruption. Dang. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of disruption from the defense, just really around the line of scrimmage, number one, and really around the ball. I mean, sometimes catching the running back in the backfield. Now we have seen some of our running backs escape the backfield, which is great. I think that's another difference we see in these practices. I think I think listening to some of these radio shows, I think I really been mainly listening to Botch and Brian, just kind of getting some, some of their points of view, because they're right there on the field, and just hearing their comments on the run game, saying that they're seeing Deuce, that they're seeing Javonte Williams get, a couple yards, 3 yards past the line of scrimmage, because even Broadus, I think, mentioned saying that, he expected some of the plays to be dead behind the line, and that's a difference that he's seeing in some of these practices, is that that these running backs are getting past the line of scrimmage, and that's, I mean, sometimes we needed that couple yard gain, 2-3 yard gains. We would need that in certain situations, and you will see sometimes
we couldn't even get that.
Right, you know what I'm saying? Trying to convert fourth down, like, come on, like, it's painful seeing that, and seeing that it's a variety of running backs being able to get past the line of scrimmage. I'm loving that we're seeing these running backs. I think we mentioned that this last week, a couple weeks ago, that it'll be pretty much an open form. And even now, I think as it stands, I know it's early. They're still, they haven't even put pads on yet, but it's still seeming like an open form for this running back room. Open,
right? It's an open competition.
And we're seeing them bring different things to the forefront. Even Hunter Lipke, I think he's being lined up at tight end, wide receiver, running back, fullback, really just being all over the field.
Wow.
I just love that he's getting. I mean, I think I mentioned this the other day on mine, that it's just that Schotty is kind of trying to make sure, like, he name dropped them. I think pretty much in almost all of his pressures, one way or another, Schotty mentions Hunter Lipke, and I think he's trying to make sure that he's not forgotten. I feel like he's going to make this team just because I feel like they're going to utilize him. I think Botch mentioned this
in
earlier,
so many ways. Yeah,
exactly. He said that we've been hearing every year. I think Botch mentioned that every year we were going to try to use Hunter Lipke, but he actually believes, and I believe it too, that we're going to finally find some way to get him involved in the offense. And Deuce too. I mean, seeing the way I seen the tweets that you posted, about him just really showing some burst. Really one of the best running backs so far that we've seen in only a couple of days. But I feel like Deuce is really taking this offseason seriously, just by the way he's shifting his footwork. Seems to have improved. He's making those cuts. I just like the I feel like his energy is a little different. I just feel like he's feel like he's taking it seriously. I feel like I'm not gonna say he's bulked up, but I just feel like he's kind of tightened in with his way. He looks a little bit more steady, at least for me. And I just feel like,
no, I agree. I definitely think
I thought it was just me. Like, I feel like he's really running. I think
I feel like Deuce knows that he's at the bottom of the totem pole.
Right.
So he knows that in order, I mean, he comes in at a disadvantage because he's 5'5". You know what I'm saying? So he knows that he's at the bottom of the totem pole. I personally think that Deuce is going to have to make Schotty a believer. You know what I'm saying? He's going to have to make Schotty a believer by he can't get hurt, because remember last offseason Deuce got hurt and he missed a lot of camp. I think he had like a hamstring or a quad injury. So one, he got to stay healthy.
Something like that. Yeah, I think it was hamstring.
He's got to stay healthy. And because Schotty already said, he feels like it's the veterans that are different. He feels like Miles Sanders and Javonte Williams, those are the ones who are stepping out. He ain't mentioned Mafa at all. Haven't really mentioned Blue that much. And, with Deuce, Deuce is always the last name mentioned. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that makes me believe that
even today in Schotty's presser, he said, we have this, we have this guy, we have this guy, we have this guy, we have Hunter, we have Deuce. And he kind of moved on. And I'm like,
right, exactly. Like he doesn't. Schotty, I really don't. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I can't say that he doesn't or does. Sometimes coaches may not speak like that because they want to challenge you. You know what I'm saying? They may not speak too highly about you because they want to challenge you. Sometimes coaches may not be a believer, and you got to make them a believer. You got to make them a believer by going out there and making plays to where the talent is undeniable. And something else that Boss says, shout out to Boss Cowboy, he always says, like, a player like Deuce, like, he's got to win the crowd.
Yeah.
So he's already done great in preseason, 2 preseasons in a row, but he's gotta wow and woo at camp. Like, he has to, because he really is. If they were to just say, I'm gonna cut somebody today, I feel like they would cut Deuce right off the bat. I don't agree with the decision. I think it's dumb. I think you don't have enough backs with a lot of explosion. But I would say I saw, and I was trying to bring up these clips because we was transitioning and talking about the run game. I did see that it looked like Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders looked a little bit more burstier today, because the clips yesterday, I was like, they're not looking great. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is a clip of Deuce.
I like how Deuce is running.
Yeah, I love how Deuce runs, bro. It's just like it's just all about, will Deuce actually get that chance? And I don't know, but I'm pulling for him. I'm pulling for him to turn some heads. Here's a clip of Javonte Williams.
I think he had a fumble today. I think Dono.
Yeah, he did have a fumble. He did. He in fact did have a fumble today.
Well,
so you know what I'm saying? But Schotty said,
yeah.
hey, these guys are in the lead or whatever. They still don't have no blue clips. I don't know why nobody is doing videos of blue. There was a Miles Sanders clip somebody had somewhere. Let me see.
Which is wild because that whole, that article came out. I figured that's what, all everybody will be talking about is blue, trying to get shots of blue to see if, how his
right.
work
The reporters just be so weird because it's like, why aren't y'all showing blue at all? Like,
right.
is he
a draft pick? That's crazy.
Is he not running? Dang, the defense, they knocked the ball out again. Okay, we got to get to the defense, but
yeah.
All right, I can't find the other clip. There was here's a clip of Miles Sanders. So they out there doing some stuff, you know what I'm saying? You can rewatch it again. So we'll see, you know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
I also want to show when we talk about the run game, because of course we're talking about these running backs, but we also should talk about the offensive line. So
yes, for sure. Oh my God, did you see Tyler Smith today? Bro, he almost threw I don't know if 59 is the linebackers, but he almost got thrown out the club. He did he took, I think he first pushed kneeling and then was able to push off 59.
I didn't see that. Who had that clip?
Let me pull it up. I think I have it bookmarked. Let me see. Because I'm like,
pull that up for sure. What's up, Steven? Glad to see you.
Yeah, Steven. What's up, fam? Thank you for joining.
And y'all make sure y'all liking. Y'all make sure y'all liking the stream. If you're coming in, please hit the like button. Please 100%. Share. And please subscribe. If you guys haven't already to our YouTube channels.
Yes, appreciate you guys. 100+ in the chat. Please, all you gotta do is just hit our like button. Hit the like button. Help send us into the algorithm. So just let more people know that we're live. Because we're, I think we're really giving you guys some fire. Just giving our thoughts. Talking about we know Cowboys. Football kind of turned a lot of lights on, but I think you guys can see our passion, see just how just how happy we are that our boys are back and just really bigging up not just the starters, but taking a look at some of these young players. For me, it just kind of gives me a little bit more confidence. We talked about earlier our confidence. I like that the confidence in our depth. But I want to let me see if I can. That's not right. Let me see if I can bring this up because this is the one I just mentioned about Donald getting the forced fumble. But if you watch Tyler Smith, like I said, he first takes on Neal in 94, and then you'll see 59 kind of, and that is either Darius Harris or Buddy Johnson, but I can't remember which which the number is. But yeah, he
okay. Rewind it so I can see.
Yeah, it should be clear now. I think this is Guyton.
Okay,
so this right here is
Guyton and then Tyler Smith. Okay,
yeah. And look right there.
Okay, I see.
Tyler was like, "Who you going after? Not my quarterback."
Hell no. Let's go, baby. Then I heard.
Look, another. You see that defense,
defense going crazy, bro. That's all right. The offense gonna come back.
Yep.
I know Schotty gonna tear their asses up. Schotty went off today because they was fighting.
Right.
But I like to see it. Let's get physical, or some people say, let's get negative. You know what I'm saying? I want the fight. Let's come on, like bring the energy. We can go to Vach's page because apparently Tyler Guyton. First of all, Vach said that Nate Thomas, he's the one who they're putting at left tackle. We thought it was going to be Austin Richards, but he's who's doing left tackle behind Guyton. But Vach said
we were wondering about that too.
We were.
We ain't heard nothing about him.
Right, but Vach said that Guyton was out there. Guyton was just out there balling, basically today. Like he was just destroying people. I was like, okay,
look, balling and mauling. Like we love to see that. We love. All right, took on Sam Williams, took on Nealon. Like
because they got the better of him yesterday, and I know he was like, hell no, I need to step up.
That's one thing I love about Guyton. Like when his problems are pointed out or when he knows his own issues, he takes it personally. And I love that he actually takes the time to work on it. And he doesn't have a problem showing his flaws, and he's not afraid to say his flaws. But he's also not afraid to put the work in to fix those flaws as well. I love that about Guyton.
So this is Guyton. That's Marshawn Nealon. Yep. See, Marshawn Nealon got him yesterday. Guyton said not today.
Right, that's gonna be a bad. That one bad. I'm definitely keeping my eye on because
not today. All right.
He's not playing, man.
So we got that clip. There's another one. Hold on.
Let's go to.
Yeah, that's the Sam Williams one.
Yep.
He handling business.
Boop.
Yeah. Those feet are looking solid. So
the feet are looking better. So I'm proud of Tyler Guyton. I feel like Tyler Guyton, he lost yesterday, but this is why Schotty said the mantra is, what is the mantra? Compete every day. Compete every day. Because it's like, you may lose today, but what about tomorrow? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You may lose today, but what about tomorrow? Schotty said Dak finally beat Micah at ping pong. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, you didn't mention. He's like, just put that out there. I'm like,
he's like Dak finally beat him. So it's like he's putting in
losing.
He's putting in these players' minds like, compete. You want to win. There's winners and there's losers.
I'll put your business out there. Yeah, Dak lost. So what you gonna do about it? You know what I'm saying? Like
exactly. It's like there's winners and there's losers. So who are you gonna be today? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So.
And I want to mention this earlier when you actually talked about Mozzie's weight. It's something I noticed about Schotty. I know he doesn't speak up or speak against the front office like that. But one thing I mentioned during his presser, because people, of course we heard, just questions raining down about Mozzie's weight for whatever reason. Is it 300? What is it? What's the and I'm like, why are y'all so worried about a man's weight? But I understand. But so many questions about it. I can understand it gets annoying. But even Schotty was like, look, can we first of all get some, consistency on defense first? He's had 3 defensive coordinators. He was forced to do different things every year. So we have to look at it too. So I love hearing that. I love hearing like I said earlier, a head coach.
I think Schotty, right.
He's that one. No. He is that one. Like he's doing it carefully and respectfully. I'll say that, but I think as time goes on, maybe year to year, Schotty may feel like he can ask for more, maybe request more, like feel like he can, because he's been there, like you said, he's been there already for years. So they had that trust in him already. I mean, we're kind of seeing that with he wanted Pickens, with the draft picks, things like that. So we're seeing the trust that he has in him. But I feel like as time goes on, even now, I mean, see how the players are reacting. The Jones got to know that the players are buying in. CD saying that we're not going to just be doing this for 1 year. You know what I'm saying? Diggs saying, hey, pay the best player in the league. Like if the Jones could just put it together and put aside their egos, and just do football things, this team could really take off. This could be I was talking to my dad about this. This could really be the foundational year where you have a young O-line, still have young receivers. You're getting your running back room together. You have 2 draft picks. You have pretty much draft picks who complement each other. You have your workhorse and Maffa, and you have your speedster guy in the backfield with Blue. If you get those young guys, if you get that side of the ball together, what I'm saying? The offense is already together, but if you just get those young guys, you get the chemistry gel together. And then the defense, you have mostly younger guys. You have a few veterans who you brought in, but for the most part, you have, a lot of first year, second year guys. This can be a really important foundational year to where they could really start something, with Dak, kind of tied to Schotty, contract wise, tied to CD as well, contract wise. So, I don't know how long they will re-sign Parsons for, but if you just get this team for the most part, of course we know free agency, things like that, but if you get mostly the foundation of this team, your star players and your core, if you can somehow keep some of these coaches together too, the Cowboys could really really take a 180 and just really kind of flip this franchise on its head with this new energy, new scheme. You know what I'm saying? I talked about today having, maybe possibly doing some wildcat, people saying,
can you hear me? My computer is weirdly glitching. I can hear you clearly, but I look crazy right now. So I'm gonna go out and come back in.
Okay, no, you're good.
Okay.
Yes, it's gonna go out. She's gonna come back in though. But yeah, like I was saying, I just think this will really be a great foundational year for the Cowboys, just because JB says we still that's a very important point, JB. We still need one tech is my concern. I'm with you. To kind of talking about the DCs a little bit. Some of the names I've just been kind of hearing in practice. I've heard like I think I mentioned earlier, Perion Winfrey had a pass breakup at the line. I've heard his name. I've also heard Denzel Jackson's name. I heard his name a couple times during the first day of practice yesterday. They said he had, I think a couple tackles, a couple stops. I'm not sure if he had a pass breakup as well, but hearing his name, I mean, we know Denzel Jackson has that kind of that free spot. I think he's has the international spot. And just seeing him kind of step up, he's been with the program for a couple years. I think I don't know if he has any sponsors, quote unquote, in the room, but I just feel like if he can step up and make plays, I think it's his third year coming on. So if we can see some development from him, I think that would be amazing. I mean, we have big bodies in that room. We have Jay Toya, who I think he was taking the reps with the ones as well. Not exactly sure how he was doing. I don't know if we heard a lot about him, but I'm excited they have a plan for him. You know what I'm saying? They plan to keep him in that middle, but at least for me, it's just a wonder of just how much he can do. He's only one person, especially with them having Mozzie taking snaps at both 1 and 3 tech. You have Osa at 3 tech as well. Perion, I think, still playing that 1 tech position, but and that's one thing I noticed today too from some of the clips. Like Perion Winfrey is, is tall. Yeah, I think I like his physicality. I like his build. Just a wonder if he can, either if he can stop the run, just how well he can plug up that middle, because he doesn't have a big body like a Jay Toia, but he's definitely tall. You know what I'm saying? I think one of the tallest guys in that room. So I'm just excited to see what this defense can do. Like we talked about earlier, this defense has been showing just so much energy. Like just seeing the difference in practice and just really seeing how, because, with Schotty being kind of offensive minded, just seeing the defense buy in, I think it shows, their maturity and just how much they really want to gel with Schotty. Can you hear me, sis? Are you good?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah. We can see you too. Yeah, perfect.
Okay, good. Okay, good. I don't know what was going on.
I was just talking about the. I seen JB's comment about 1 tech, and I was mentioning just some names I kind of heard. Well, I say yesterday. I really haven't read a lot of practice today because just a lot going on. But some names I heard in practice yesterday. I heard Denzel Jackson's name. I think he had a couple tackles. I know they were playing Jay Toia at 1 tech, and they had Perion Winfrey playing 1 tech. Like we mentioned earlier, he had a pass break up, and that's one thing I mentioned too. Before you came on, that I like Perion Winfrey's physicality, his build. I like that because he's definitely very tall. I don't know if he has the big body that we're looking for, but it makes me wonder if he can plug up that middle. But I like the way he was moving that practice, and I'm definitely interested to see, number one, how he looks in pads and how he moves, with the rest of the room, because just kind of being that veteran type, and maybe he can take somebody under his wing. Another thing, speaking of that, I was listening to a show today about that could be the difference for Mozzie, Solomon Thomas taking him under his wing, so that could be kind of upgrade his game a little bit. So I'm just
right, because what I really think that they're doing, sis, is they want everybody to be versatile, just like the offensive line. So everybody on the D line, they want you to be able to do both. They don't want bags of trash. Don't fit. I better say Zimmer. Don't fit Eberflus's scheme, right?
Yeah.
And if you look at it, y'all catch my video. It's good. That's probably the best video I put out in a while, where I'm showing you how Zimmer scheme wise, what he was initially asking the defensive tackles to do, it was not a scheme fit. And when he switched he says it multiple times. Like, I got the clips. When he switched how the defense was playing blocks as versus just holding blocks to attacking, he literally says attacking. Then who did you hear back say that same thing? White Cotton. We're an attack front, attacking. So these players play better when they can play one-on-one. This is Mozzie, Osa, I'm sure Perion Winfrey.
I mentioned earlier Denzel Jackson.
Solomon Thomas, Denzel Jackson. Right, because Denzel Jackson was a tweener in college.
Yeah.
Because I watched his film. So it's like they want guys that can do both. I don't think that we're going to... Jay, they probably even told Jay to lose a little bit of weight so he could be a little bit more twitchier, because Jay was 340. So they probably told him, let's lose a little bit of weight. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
they need you to be able. They said they want you to be able to go 100 miles a minute.
Right. Get upfield.
Get upfield. You know what is Quentin Williams, the guy that White Cotton developed? He's an All Pro, but what
Yeah.
it why is he All Pro? Because he gets sacks, because he gets tackles for loss. Like
Yeah.
these are attack fronts. So you have to be able to have that ability to get upfield. And so that's the guys that they're getting. That's why I feel like there's a disconnect between the fans and what the organization and the coaches are doing. Because we're like, what the hell? We need one text. We need that big bag of trash to sit in the
Yeah.
middle. But the coaches don't want that big bag of trash. They don't want a big bag of trash. They want players who are versatile.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, okay. I like hearing that, you know what I'm saying, and not just hearing some of these guys kind of show it in practice, like Solomon Thomas, see how he looks. He almost looks like he's already in pad. Just kind of seeing his build. I like really those two guys for me, Thomas and Perion Winfrey. Like their physicality for me kind of definitely stands out. But I want to see how they look, once the pass come on, and see just how they do operate against these running backs. And just before we do close out, I want to see if there's any more notes I had that we really haven't covered, because I think we pretty much covered, I think, almost all rooms. Like, yeah, I think we covered the DBs. I don't know if we really covered safety play. I think Wanya
Yeah.
had a pack breakup.
I can bring up we can go through as we leave out Patrick No-C Walker's. He just put out his notes
Okay, awesome.
from today, so I'll bring it up. And here we go.
Yeah, you guys, let's do this. One of the last kind of moves we're gonna make. Make sure you guys hit the like button, hit the share button, hit subscribe as well. Definitely make sure you hit both our channels too.
Right. Thank you guys. But yeah, this is Patrick No-C Walker. He said Dallas Cowboys run defense. Yeah, our run defense was ranked pretty bad. Now, I would like to see the comparison from the beginning half of the year to the second half of the year, because we started playing a lot better. But at the beginning half of the year, I mean, it was bad. We saw it. We saw it
Yeah.
front and center. He said, so a Marinelli type DT. Chicago's Bears run defense ranked 28th. Yeah, but I think who was the talent that they had over there? They didn't really have the Bears. I can't really go off of Flus with the Bears. I got to go off of Flus when he actually had good talent. That was with Indy. And I think the Bears had good run defense. I think last year was just their worst. I think every year before that, they were actually pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's kind of similar to a Marinelli DT, but better talent. Because obviously Marinelli's DTs were kind of jags. You know what I'm saying? So, think of a Marinelli DT, but someone who's got more talent. So I think that's the disconnect. Now, I'm not saying that that's the right thing or the wrong thing. All I'm saying is, from what I'm gathering from the coaches and stuff like that, this is what they want. They do not want a traditional big bag of trash sitting in the middle. That's not what they want. So anyway, so these notes say, who pissed off Tyler Guyton? The first practice of training camp saw him catch my eye a few times, but his second practice held my attention hostage at several points. His work in the offseason, especially with Tyron Smith, looked like it's paying off. He was stonewalling nearly all corners, including a highly motivated, quick twitch talent. He said, all comers, including a highly motivated, quick twitch talent like Sam Williams to keep Dak Prescott's blindside detergent clean. Granted, Micah isn't on the field yet, but we're not exactly talking about Jags on the first team defense.
Right.
It's exceedingly deep at defensive end. That's true. He said, another day, another round of takeaways from Matt Eberflus's defense. It's not that the Cowboys offense is sloppy with the ball. It's simply that the defense is relentless in trying to take it away with slaps and punches, and it's working. Donovan Wilson forced fumble on Wednesday. Another forced fumble was followed up by an interception from Kyer Elam, the latter being a great sign for the Cowboys CB Corps in desperate need of answers.
Facts. Yeah, I'm loving that. I'm loving that Elam. Just quickly, I'm loving that Elam is stepping up and stepping in, and he could very well be a starting corner. By training camp.
For sure. That's why it's like if we could, I think it's good to evaluate the corners before jumping out, because
Yes.
you may be fine at corner even with the injuries.
Yeah.
I personally think that. So it's like you see what you have, and then if you feel like, once you put the pads on, things ain't looking good, then that's when you bring in a vet like a Stephon Gilmore or somebody.
Yeah.
Then he said, as far as the rookies go, Donovan Ezeraku was one of the best pass rush technicians he's ever seen. So often first year rushers need to refine this or that, and this, but Ezeraku has so many pass rush moves, and each of them looks so smooth, detailed, and effective. I was left wondering if I was watching AI and not an actual human. He had several pressures on day 2, and it makes you wonder what he can be once he actually improves. As the season rolls along. It also doesn't hurt that he's now taking pass rush advice from Charles Haley.
Ooh. Oh wow, yeah, because he did come through the camp. Okay,
right, yeah, because Charles Haley was there today.
Yeah,
and then Joe Milton. He has a cannon for an arm that's glaringly obvious. What I need to see from him is touch. However, especially after spending the last several months or more hoping Trey Lance could find his, Milton showed me a handful of throws that he could very well locate. His from tosses to Jonathan Mingo, dropped in the perfect spot on a comeback route, or when he floated one perfectly to Brevin Span Ford in the dead spot of the coverage for a first down with change.
Yeah,
the deep ball he threw down the seam to Mingo felt just incomplete to delete what would have been the biggest play of the day, but by just a smidge. And I bet Lamb Pickens or Turpin get to that ball.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that deep pass he had to Mingo, and just a quick point, Mingo is stepping up. I'm loving hearing his name.
Yeah, we've been hearing Mingo's name a lot.
He could very hot. And another, I know it's just so much, y'all, but another thing I kind of noticed that Pickens kind of mentioned Tober by name as well. So when during Pickens' initial kind of press conference, he said, if we just have me, CD, and Tolbert, we could do this, that, and the third. I'm like, he mentioned Tober by name. That
who mentioned Tolbert? You said Pickens did?
Yeah, Pickens did in his presser that he had.
Oh wow, I didn't hear that.
Huh? Yeah, I was
they love Tolbert. I think CD and Pickens want Tolbert at 3.
Yeah, and,
I think they really want him at 3, and it's like if Tolbert earned it, then he earned it. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
If he earned it, he earned it. And I mean, honestly, we said that about Tolbert. We said that he's a high end 3. Yeah, so now, like he is in the lead, but obviously we do like hearing that Mingo is doing good. You know what I'm saying? So those two are battling it out, and we got to continue to watch that. And then for the comments on Cannon, Big Bazooka Joe, Joe does have, I'm not gonna lie to you, he's got a crazy release. Yeah. The ball just comes out so smoothly. But that's what arm talent is. Like when you just got that arm strength, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Yeah. I do think that, I agree with Patrick Nosey that he's just got to work on the touches got to work on the touch, you know what I'm saying, with certain throws. I will say that I did watch his game versus because he played the last game of the year versus the Bills. Now granted, it was all backups, but Joe Milton actually played a pretty good game. I was actually impressed.
Right, I think he had on his first drive. I think he had a touchdown on his first drive.
Yeah, he had a touchdown. For the first half of the game, he had like no incompletions. Now granted, I'm watching in detail, and they was running the same routes. I'm like, God, the Bills backups are ass. Because I'm like, how are y'all continuing to get got by curl routes? But they was getting got. And Joe Milton, baby, he was not missing. He just kept hitting them out route, comeback route. So I was like, damn. So shout out to Joe Milton. I think he's got a lot of promise.
Yeah, I do like looking interesting. They say you're gonna play a lot in preseason because
preseason. Preseason. I want the starters playing in preseason, but I will say I am excited but I do like that we added Joe to the fold. Just as, to be Dak's backup. Yeah. And I do feel confident that if Dak, he's not going to go down, but if somehow the unfortunate happens that. And we needed Milton to carry us through some game, help us manage some games, stuff like that. I definitely think I definitely think he's more than capable to do that.
Yeah.
So
and that just kind of last point on that, you can kind of see the team kind of rallying around him now. So if hopefully, like you said, hopefully it doesn't come, but if that time does come, they already kind of had that belief, kind of like that backup support system for Milton to kind of ingrain himself in the team.
Exactly.
And really kind of keep things smoothing as if nothing happened, you know?
Exactly. I mean, that's what you want from your backup. Like, your backup is not going to be your starter, but you want them to at least be able to be serviceable. You know what I'm saying? And I think Joe Milton has the ability to be serviceable. I think he has the ability to be more than serviceable. I think that, Joe Milton, if he continues to refine his skills, he could definitely, be a starter in this league at some point. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if it's going to be here. I don't know if it's going to be somewhere else, but I definitely think that, he has potential. I think the Joneses did a good job of bringing him over here. And I'm glad they did it for a 5th round pick and not a 3rd round pick. But yeah, so I think it's good. And like I said, I think that Dak is such a secure man that he's taking Joe under his wing. He's showing Joe everything that Joe needs to be successful. And he's also building that personal relationship with Joe, because Dak and Joe hung out a lot in the off season. So so it's just it's no bitterness. It's really, we're brothers. Yes, we're competing. Let the best man win. But at the same time, like, it's about the team. And I do feel that from everybody on the team, that at the end of the day, it's about the team and what's best for the team.
I 100% agree with you that like you said, just the chemistry kind of building now. And then that way, and then really by the time week 1 gets here, I would think it would take about, these guys are all spending time in California all together. Going to be spending time that off time together, the weekends together, I'm sure, kind of being that kind of like, not being a small space, but kind of just everyone being in that one city, they're going to be doing things together. So they're going to be getting even more off field time together. So, really in the new city, some of this is new for these veterans coming in who've never been to Oxnard, or, as far as with the Cowboys, or, maybe never been to a training camp like this. And we know this, this camp has a different energy about it, a different feeling. So I just love that these guys are going to continue to kind of get that relationship kind of building with each other, and that camaraderie all the way up through preseason, all the way up to week 1. And I think it'll be enough to be able to have these. It should be enough, and hopefully will be enough to have these guys ready by week 1. And I think, just kind of a last note for as far as Micah goes, I feel like he kind of took what Jerry was saying yesterday. Like, technically I am under contract, so I'm gonna go out here with my guys. I like what he said. I'm gonna go out here for my guys, not for the owner, but I'm gonna go out here and be with my guys, prepare like I need to prepare, once my body gets right, and get ready for week 1. So I like that, he's taken upon himself to be, responsible in that way of a leader, and saying, hey, I'm here with you guys, even despite what everything was going on. And everyone looks at him like, okay, we respect what you're doing. We love that you're here. And it brings the team even closer, kind of just under that understanding, like, hey, bro, we got your back. And we see you fighting for us, although you don't have to be here. Like, we see across the league, a Trey Hendrickson who's sitting out, a Terry McLaurin who's waiting for a contract. So we know Micah. Even Schotty said he doesn't have to be here. And even during the offseason, the guys didn't have to get together. They didn't have to spend time together. They could have been vacationing. Like you said, they could have been sitting on the beach. But these guys are putting time in together, spending time together, making that they're building the time together now, so that way it pays off later, because they're just buying in so much that I think it's going to make this process move not just smoother but faster, because they're buying in just so hard, just so into it, really just want to play for each other.
Facts. I agree with everything you said. I think that this was a great show. I think we got into just the culture shift, differences in practices. That's what we talked about in the beginning. If somebody just popped in, so y'all can go back to the beginning and look at that. We also talked about, the bonds of the players, talked about the running game, see how some of the, hot button names like Tyler Guyton is performing, and how the running back room is doing. And, then talk about, the defense, and how the defense is just continuing to show up and show out 2 days in a row. So I'm waiting for, I know the offense will respond, and have a crazy day. But even in those notes with Patrick O.C., he said it ain't like the offense is sloppy. You know what I'm saying? The offense ain't sloppy. The offense is clicking. It's just that the defense is just doing everything they can, to get the ball out. And so the offense has to know that. And I like that, because it's just preparing us for real life games. cover the ball up. Stop being
That part.
sloppy. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Right.
You gotta be better. Gotta turn your brain on, you know.
Yeah, and even further for the defense, you know, it teaches them to play through the ball. It teaches them to continually take that. That's one thing I loved about Bland kind of popping the ball out on Pickens, because you know you probably could have thought, okay, well, he at the end of the field, he just run for, you know, we get back to the next play, but no, Bland kept going through. He punched the ball out, you know, Donald picked it up, ran it back. So that just shows the full commitment, the full energy that these guys
Right,
are
it's
showing.
full.
Yeah, I'm gonna get this turnover. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Nah, practice the play not
Exactly.
over. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So,
They fully committed, and I like that. Like let's
exactly.
be fully committed to the very end. To the very
Right.
end. But anyway, yeah. Oh, go
No,
ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, you know, at the end of the day, this is how the guys are gonna play in the regular season. You know, how you practice is how you're gonna play. So if you commit now, you'll have no problem committing later on. You know, in the actual real season when it counts. You know, going after the ball, going after opposing teams when the player isn't thinking to pay attention. Yeah, and that's when those turnovers happen, when the offensive player isn't fully focused on what they're doing. So yeah.
Facts. But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of StarChasers Girls Talk Ball. We really appreciate y'all rocking with us. Please like the video if you haven't already. Please share and please subscribe to our YouTube channels if you haven't already. Sis, you could put the scrolling banner up.
Got you.
But people, anybody new, you know, our YouTube channels. If you're on X or whatever, please subscribe to Cravin Cowboys and Stargazer Sports. But we really appreciate y'all.
Just one last note: hit up our Cash App as well. It's kind of hidden by the banner, but
Cash App, hit our Cash App, please. Hit our Cash Apps.
And once again, we appreciate you, JV. Really appreciate.
Thank you so much, JV, and everybody who donates. But I really special shout out to JV because he donates like consistently to us. So I really, really, really appreciate you, JV.
Yes. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate your time, sis. Thank you so much. We'll definitely be back next week, you guys. Look out for more news and notes from us. And also on the individual channels as well. That's why we tell you guys consistently, make sure you subscribe to our individual channels, because we'll be definitely putting out more content as the season kind of kicks off, and, you know, trying to ramp up our subscribers and get more followers and really just really remain loyal to you guys remain loyal to us. We're trying to remain loyal to you guys by, you know, consistently, you know, bring you guys fire content. So we really love you guys, and thanks for spending your time with us. Thank you, sis. Really appreciate your time as well. I'll see you next week. Love y'all.
Love y'all.